Dimly lit, dimly lit. It is dimly lit here. I wasn't going to do this, record a personal vlog today, because I thought, well, I just did some, and if I don't give enough time in between them, then I have nothing to talk about. But then I thought, hey, what's going on? And I decided to make that dumb joke. And then, more of just a reference to that, what, He-Man, a meme song. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm starting to set up here. I thought about what's going on, and I thought about how, in the last thing that I did, which was on Monday, which was not that long ago, I went out and I found a bonsai tree, and then I went and got some other plants, and now I'm learning to take care of them. And but what I said there, I started talking about something specifically, which was, I'm pretty sure somewhere in that video, I said that I made a lot of stuff in September. And then I went and I looked at how many things I made in September. I produced 43 pieces of content in September. That can be video, wildlife vlogs, or personal vlogs, or other random sorting magic cards, or trying to fix a computer mouse. Anything like that, that's a video. When I go out, I've got multiple things like photos and video from the day get published, and then I have 3 ongoing series that are outside of this entirely now. I started the one back months ago at this point. I actually don't remember off the top of my head how far back or when I started recording myself talking about things that I like, and called it Capitalism Ho. But I did that, started months ago, and that's going strong. I'm really enjoying that, and I did a bunch of that so I could have a nice backlog to be focusing on other things as well, so I did some of that. Then I started something new, and that's what I thought, I could talk about that. I'm playing Pokemon. If you've seen, I think the first one came out on YouTube as of yesterday. So that means that I shot some of that at the beginning of September and then followed up the next weekend, I think. I think I waited until September to start doing that stuff. Pretty sure. It may have been the end of August. But either way, playing Pokemon. Trying to complete the Pokedex. And instead of just doing that on my own time, like I did before, last year, I'm doing it on your time. No, I'm recording it. As opposed to when I ride the exercise bike. Right now I'm playing Legend of Zelda while I ride the exercise bike. So I'm playing Pokemon. Going to complete the Pokedex, which is a challenge for sure. I actually have already recorded all of those. And some follow-up things that you'll find out about many months from now, since I decided to make that a weekly thing. So that's Capitalism Ho comes out every week. Pokemon comes out every week. And now I've started something new that technically is not out yet, but by the time this comes out, it will be out because it's already slated and scheduled for release. I believe it starts next week. Is something I've been trying to do, thinking about doing. I've had the idea. It floats around in my head, in and out, everything for years now. It's been almost 3 years since I started going out looking. Well, it's been longer than that since I started going out and doing wildlife. It's been 3 years since I transitioned from going out, taking still photos, and then going back and writing about them on a blog, to doing it more live as video. And even more so with the fact that I've got the GoPro, and I'll be putting that on my backpack mount today. So I finally have gotten that idea out of my head of I could do this. because I wanted the idea was, and I talked about it a lot on Patreon, so I'll just kind of quickly summarize here. When go out, see nature, but inside. Doing that through the use of a fantastic video game, Red Dead Redemption 2, which that game gave me the inspiration to do it, because I'd just ride a horse or walk around in the game all the time and go, this is fantastic. This is like when I go, this is better than when I go outside and look for wildlife, because the game is programmed to just have wildlife all over the place, which is not how it is in real life. But it's really cool. And so I thought, hey, there's going to be days, especially during winter or when the weather's not good, when I can't go out, and when cannot go out, see nature, but stay in, see nature. Anyway, so I finally have started that, and I did it in a way that I'm happy with, of a nice kind of quiet voiceover, but not ASMR, because I'm not a fan of ASMR. It's like the actual whispery, quiet, not the auditory response that ASMR technically stands for, but what ASMR has turned into from a lot of people. Whenever you see it, you get a lot of people whispering into a microphone and real close, or touching the microphone, which drives me up a wall. I cannot. Now we're getting some sun. Yeah, I'll be ready to go here in a few minutes. So yeah, I decided to start doing that. And so now that's an ongoing thing that I do. And I've also got another one that I'll be starting up, but on a monthly basis. That will be coming soon. That one's not ready yet. I haven't shot that. And then a monthly one for Patreon. But that's not a series so much as it me trying to make people's money worth it. Make the content worth the money that people pay, right? Trying to give some kind of benefits, exclusives, and reasons why people would want to support, additional reasons rather than just going out. So keeping myself to a more regular, like once a month, give them a peek behind the curtain of what you're currently working on for the people of Patreon. In addition to, so I just ramble into microphones, both when I'm driving, when I'm at home, other things like that. That all goes on Patreon. They get exclusive photos, the whole thing. But anyway, I'm really glad that I'm doing that. The waiting and watching for the Red Dead 2, that's the series that has started, is currently going and will be every Saturday until I get bored of doing it, basically. Same thing with, Pokemon hopefully will end at some point with when I actually complete the Pokedex, and then it will pick back up when they add more Pokemon to the Pokedex. Because they got me hooked. What can I say? I like Pokemon. I like collecting. I've talked before about how it kind of relates to wildlife photography and why I do both. So I thought it would be interesting at least to bring people along for this time, instead of just like, here's a summary of what I've done over the last year and a half, or however long it took me to play through all the games, which transitioned into complete the Pokedex officially, according to me, as far as I can get it. That's the big thing. But anyway, yeah, playing some video games, doing that stuff. Capitalism Ho will go until I run out of things to talk about. That's for sure. But yeah, video games. Something that's what started a website and a YouTube channel originally, was me just playing video games, because I used to play them with a friend, and he and I stopped playing them together, recording them. And then I went, well, maybe I could just do this on my own. And I started out, and I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and so I stopped doing it, and then I decided to transition into this stuff, so I privated all those videos. Technically, the people on Patreon have access to them still, but it's not the same. It's not something I'm super happy with. Some of them were, like, I started out, and I played video games, and I tried to do the whole Let's Play commentary thing, but I don't know, parts of it were definitely boring, and it's not that exciting, and it's not what I watch. And that's what I really made the distinction between, am I making something that I would watch? I realized that much later on, and now I just do whatever. Because when I started out doing this stuff, I made it very specifically wildlife, and then it transitioned into, well, it can be more than that, and it can be just whatever you want to do, and you would watch other people. Like, that's why I always held off on it, because I was like, I'm not entertaining enough on my own. But as long as there's another person, there's a back and forth there, there's a conversation that other people would be interested in listening to. And now I've given up on all that. I've gone back on that way of thinking to just, I don't care. Make what you want to. Do what you want to do and have fun doing it. And now I do. And you know what else is really fun? Starfield. If you haven't played Starfield, I highly recommend it. Because it's amazing if you like Bethesda games. It's Bethesda, but in space. And at that point in the video, I highly expect if you haven't played it, please turn the video off. Give the rest of this one a skip, because I'm going to talk about it in a way that I never do. I'm going to spoil things. And for me, I'll start this out by saying and explaining what I consider to be a spoiler, because I know that people are different about that stuff. A spoiler to most people would be a twist at the end of the movie that you didn't see coming, if it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie or something like that, right? But to me, if I haven't experienced that piece of content, the book, the movie, the whatever, anything it is, everything is a spoiler to me until I know about it. And like, there are people who are like, if it's in the trailer, it's okay. I don't watch trailers at all. I have no reason to. The last trailer okay, technically, I started one last night because it was a game trailer. My significant other was like, hey, they've got some new Batman game, something like that. She didn't know exactly what it was. She tried describing it to me, and I was interested enough because, although I haven't played any of the Batman games, I know that I said I was going to talk about Starfield, but I'm very much interested, and I'm kind of saving, I guess. I'm going to play through all of them. I will play through them. I do like the Batman content in the DC universe, all of that stuff. I have a lot of comics there. And I never played any of those games, but I know of them. And I don't know if this one is part of it, but she was like, it's kind of like that, but it's not Batman. It's like Batgirl. And then she said Nightwing, and my ears perked up. I immediately went, ooh, Nightwing. Nightwing's like one of my favorites, absolutely. And then she said Robin, and somebody else that she didn't recognize. She's like, this big dude. And I was like, who's this big dude? Who else would be part of that? Just knowing what I know about the DC universe, who else would be part of that? So I pulled it up, and I went to the trailer and started watching it. And then I figured out, I was like, that's Red Hood. Okay. I didn't realize Red Hood was big hulking dude now. I mean, look, the only thing I really know about Red Hood is I read the story, which was fantastic back in the day. But that was, 80s or 90s? I don't remember. Maybe it was earlier than that, actually. I have a graphic novel of it. I should actually look to see when that was. And I should reread that one because it's been a while. Okay. Future stuff for a future thing, but Starfield. I said I was going to talk about Starfield. Starfield is amazing. There's so much to do. I finally completed the first... the first faction I think I joined was Vanguard. I actually don't remember if I joined that one first, but it's the first one that hooked me. And again, spoilers for anything if you talked about it. I completed, theoretically, it. I went all the way through and I got an achievement for finishing it. I did the whole Terramorph line. That was incredible. Like, you start out that quest line with like, here's the history of everything, and they talk about the wars that happened, and then all of a sudden these aliens just popped up and they wipe out, huge, so like the almost undefeatable, and then you have to fight a Terramorph, which for me was very difficult the first time around. And then towards the end of the quest, you do a couple more. They give you a minigun to fight off these Terramorphs when you go to like, I'd say their home planet, but really it's one of the first ones that they took over, and they just pop up and it's completely unexplained, and you learn the reason why they exist and everything. Man, what a fantastic quest. Holy crap. There's like intrigue and plot lines, and I'm just saying points at this thing. There's a lot to it, and there's, things that I still won't even say just because they are significant spoilers, but like, you have to make choices, and just really good. I really enjoyed that. Oh, man. And then you talk about, just in general, we'll talk about Starfield. I knew nothing going into it, because this is how I approach video games. This is how I approach movies, TV shows. Anything there, once I have enough to know that I'll want to watch it, that can take 2 seconds of a trailer. It can take 0 seconds of a trailer. I know. Elden Ring. When Elden Ring was announced, I didn't watch anything for it. I didn't need to. All I heard was the name of it, and I saw FromSoft and went, done. Technically, I'd already heard because I was like, oh, J.R.R. Martin is writing for this. This is going to be amazing. This was back at the hype of Game of Thrones with all of that, and like, okay, yeah, absolutely. That was all I needed to know. I never watched any trailer. I didn't go into it or do anything. Like, I went into it completely blind, and that's how I want to do everything. That's how I went into Starfield. So I knew nothing about it except Bethesda and space. Done. That's all I needed to know, and it was amazing. And you start playing the game. I was just like, this is fantastic, and I'm comparing it to, if I'm telling other people who haven't played it, it's like, I said it was like Skyrim in space, and then I went, no, wait, you get guns. It's like Fallout in space. I didn't play as much Fallout, so it doesn't come immediately to my mind. It's like Fallout in space. You get all that stuff. And then the big twist that I had zero idea about or anything, you get powers. You become, and so then we start joking around, right? Like you get powers, and it's like, this really is like Skyrim in space, right? You're the Dragonborn, but in space. And started coming up with somebody else more clever than me. One of my siblings said, Spaceborn. And now I'm to the point where there are the Starborn. They literally did it. We made the joke as soon as we popped up. We started playing the game, my significant other and I, make sure nobody else has showed up yet. My significant other and I started making the joke, being like, it would be amazing if they just all of a sudden, like, they go through all this Starfield, you see the title credits, you get all the way through the beginning of the game and out of the tutorial and all that, like, everything happens there. They teach you how to play the game, and then all of a sudden it goes to black and it comes back up, and just as Elder Scrolls 6, and Todd is there. Making a winking face or something. I wouldn't even be upset about it if they made that Elder Scrolls 6. And we made those jokes. And then it literally became that. It didn't. It's still Starfield. It's not actually Elder Scrolls. But man, they really took everything. They were like, what if you get powers? What if there are... I don't know anything about the Spaceborn yet. They literally just shown up and were like, you shouldn't be doing any of the things that you're doing. Stop it now or we'll annihilate you. And I went, save, kill. Okay, yeah, I can kill them. They're not impossibly difficult. They were not easy, but they were not impossibly difficult for me. Reload, don't kill them, just run away. Because I didn't actually want to do it. I just wanted to know what would happen. And yeah, that's a whole mystery that I've yet to unlock yet. But like every step of the way, the side quests are interesting, the factions are interesting, the main quest is interesting, the characters are interesting. I've really thoroughly enjoyed every minute. I think I've put like 50 hours into it so far, which is, respectable for all of the other things. I talked about I recorded 43 pieces of content in September while doing all that with Starfield. So, like, incredible. Now the sun has risen, and now it's time to get going. So there was a touch of all the things that I really wanted to do, all the things that I really want to talk about with... I'm excited that I'm starting new content. I'm excited that I'm doing new things, and I'm really enjoying Starfield. It's fantastic.